everyone, it's Gina here and welcome to my channel. So today I've got another mukbang video for you, and for dinner today we are eating homemade dumplings. That's right, Kyung and I made dumplings. My mum taught me how to make them and they look like this. These in Chinese I believe are called sui gao, and it's like a southern China kind of dumplings. Like there's all these different types, but I like these ones because the skin isn't as thick, it's slightly lighter, so it's easier to eat. And I can so like knock off a dozen of these and not feel like shit after. So we made these on the weekend. I'm just heating up some water with some oil in it and just recooking it to heat it up, and then we can have dinner. So I'm just waiting for the water to heat up so I can chuck these dumplings in. Kyung and I have been craving dumplings for a while and we really wanted to learn how to make them so we can make them ourselves. So I especially like my mum's dumplings, not to be biased, but hers just seemed a lot lighter. Like when I eat them, like I said, I can knock off a dozen and I don't feel shit after because the skin is slightly lighter than, it's kind of in between like a dumpling and a wonton. But yeah, so I love it, and we actually went over on the weekend to learn how to make it. So we went grocery shopping, bought all the stuff, and she taught us how to make it. So yeah, this is what it looks like. If you want to know how to make these, let me know and I might do a like a recipe. But I'll show you a link of my Snapchat in what we did on the weekend.
Yeah. Đó, thì kim bao rất kim khoai. You xong bay có
What's these things? So the water started bubbling, so I put in the dumplings and left it in there for about 2 minutes or so, just till it starts bubbling again. These have already been cooked, so I'm just doing this to, I guess, heat them up. But yeah, I think they're ready, so let's eat. Okay, so this is what the dumplings look like. Like seriously, you can't get anything better than homemade dumplings. They're so good. But yeah, so I've got two different sauces with me today. The first one is this dumpling sauce, which you can get at like, I guess, Asian grocery stores. They're quite nice. It's like already kind of mixed with like sesame oil, soy sauce, a bit of vinegar and soybean. I like it. This is the spicy version. And I've also got some homemade sauce that my mum made as well. I thought I'll use this one up because it's only a little bit left. And in the homemade sauce, there's like, I think there's like oyster sauce, sesame oil, chili flakes, soy sauce, garlic. I think that's it. Oh, and vinegar or something like that. But yeah, so that's the sauce. So yeah. So let's eat. These are like so good when it's like so cold, especially on a day like today. Today is actually Thursday. Also, if you notice, I'm posting this video up on the Friday because I think it's time that, I think doing one video a week isn't enough. So I'm going to start doing 2 videos a week. I'm thinking on Fridays I might do like mukbangs and like, you know, just a whole lot of random shit. And on Tuesdays I'll post up like reviews, makeup and like all that kind of jazz. So if you're interested, make sure you subscribe to watch them, and you know, if you like one more than the other, then you know which days to watch. But yeah, so thought I would use chopstick today because it seems more authentic using it, but I'm really bad at using chopsticks, so this might get really messy, but bon appetit. They're so good. I don't know if you can see, these are like pork mince and prawn with chives. I don't know about you guys, but I love adding chives in dumplings because I love that chive breath after. It's really satisfying. So yeah, today's weather has been so crazy. Like once it hit the afternoon, Kyung called me and said, you know, oh, is the weather really bad in the city? Because it's really bad back home. And I was like, no, I'm fine, because I was in the city and I was inside work anyway. I never really went out. But it was crazy when I left work. It was like pouring rain. And for some reason, every time the rain gets bad, people just lose their mind and they just can't drive properly, and the trains are always like defected or something's wrong with the train. So what normally takes me about 20 minutes to get home, it took me like an hour. And usually on Thursday nights, because today's Thursday, I go swimming with my auntie, and I had to cancel because I wasn't going to make it because I was stuck on the train. I was so excited as well because I actually really enjoy swimming and I've been doing it a lot lately. But yeah, it just wasn't happening. Like, the train wasn't moving. It was like stopping in between stations. So I just couldn't make it. So I ended up coming home. And even on the way home, like literally I saw about 4 car accidents. Like, I don't know, people are crazy. So today I thought I would talk about my family and just share a little bit of stories about them. I guess, like, especially when I'm eating something like this, I'm really grateful that my parents are very supportive. They also like to show me things and to learn, I guess. And I would say that I'm a very independent person, and I am because of them. Because, you know, they've always, anytime there was anything, like ones like, you know, when my car battery died, my dad showed me how to change the battery. He showed me how to change my tires. My mum will always, like, you know, just do little hack things and things like that and show me how to do things. So, I mean, I think it's important that, especially being a woman, that you should really have your independence and to be able to do things. Like, I'm not saying that, you know, if you're not and you rely on someone that, you know, there's something wrong with you, but I'm just saying, I don't know, it kind of makes me feel better that I can do things on my own. But yeah, so the good thing as well is that my parents aren't really, I guess my parents are more westernized because they've been here for a while. My dad came in the 70s. He actually, the story happened was that my dad came here in 1974 and he was just, you know, jumping through countries, just looking for jobs because one of his aunties lived here. And at the time he came, there was the Cyclone Tracy. Now, if you don't know what Cyclone Tracy was, it was pretty much one of the biggest cyclones that's happened in Australia. It's kind of like Hurricane Katrina, but this is just a cyclone. Anyway, so that was in 74, and he was literally clinging onto like a toilet bowl to save his life. And then after that, the government was like, you know, you're already here, so might as well just become an Australian citizen. And from there, he's moved on and, you know, picked up a lot of work here and there. And yeah, so if you think about it, if it wasn't for that toilet bowl, I may not have been here today. But yeah. So yeah, they've been here since the 70s, and I guess, you know, because they've been here longer, they've able to adapt to the Western culture. So growing up, like, I didn't really have any difficulties fitting in. Like for school, I didn't feel like, you know, I was an outcast or anything because I went to a pretty Western school. Like, I was pretty much like almost minority. But it wasn't too bad. Like, I still, for lunch, like, I still had sandwiches. Like, you know, I played with like all my friends and stuff like that. My dad attended most of the working bees. Like, we're pretty much really Western. The only thing was that I hated my parents growing up because they were so strict. Like, even though I was fine, like I had Western friends, like all white friends and everything, like I just felt like my family was always different compared to them because, you know, my friends would let them go out to play after school, whereas I had to come home, I had to study, I had to, like, you know, do my homework. And I, as a kid, like, I just kind of felt like I was missing out. Like, I always wanted to play school sports and stuff, but I wasn't able to because I had to go home and study. And, you know, you don't see it now, but at the time I felt like, you know, all my parents wanted me to do was to study and I couldn't have a life. So I kind of resented my parents for that, and in a way I kind of rebelled when I got into my teens. And even on school holidays, I felt like my parents would ship us off to my grandparents for 2 weeks while we were on school holidays because they were too busy working and they couldn't have time to look after us, and all I wanted to do was just hang out with my friends. But it wasn't too bad because there were some times that we did go camping, like with me and all my cousins and aunties and uncles, and that was pretty fun. Like, we'll do the whole tent thing and literally bring everything. If we could bring a kitchen sink, we probably did. Actually, I think we did bring a kitchen sink at one time. But I remember one of my cousins bought a goldfish with us when we went camping, so You know, growing up, I felt like my parents didn't care about my life. They didn't care about my social life, me meeting friends and having friends. And especially like when I was in year 9, I was about 14, and it's the worst thing you can do to a kid. But my parents decided to move to Darwin for a year. And if you don't know what Darwin is, it's pretty much, so Melbourne is like on the bottom of Australia, Darwin is on top. It's about a 4-hour plane ride to Darwin, and especially like 14, year 9 is like the peak or the start of like, you know, your teenagehood. It's when you start socializing and go out with my friends. And my parents decided to go to like, you know, a new state, and it was pretty much starting, like, one, it was hard enough as it is adjusting to like being a teenager, but another thing was like to be adjusting into a whole different state, and it was completely different. Like, it was the first time ever that, you know, we didn't have school uniform, we could wear whatever we liked to school. And just the whole environment, it's a lot hotter in Darwin, and the people there, their slangs and everything was just completely different. And it was the first time that I've ever seen like an Aboriginal as well, was in Darwin. And yeah, so I really hated it being up there, because I felt like, you know, they were just there wanting to like, you know, own a takeaway shop and money, but they didn't care about my life. And it got to the point where I felt like we were trapped. Like, we were at like this takeaway shop like all day, every day. And I was only like, what, 14? I wasn't even legally able to work. But they kind of made me work, and it was like kind of like child labor. And I never saw that money either, so. But yeah, I pretty much rebelled the whole year. And it got to the point at the end of the year that I just didn't go. I was like skipping school so much. And I even started like smoking, and I also started selling cigarettes at school as well. So I was kind of like, what I was doing was I was sneaking like the packets of cigarettes at work, like the decks, and I was selling them at school, dealing them for like 50 cents each, or like $10 for a deck. And back then, like Winfield Blues were like about $7.50 a deck. So I was making 100% profit. And you know what? They never even, like, they never even realized that as well. So it wasn't until like, I think a few years ago when I told them about it, they had no clue that I was like sneaking all those like cigarettes to school and selling them. But yeah, it wasn't until I think towards the last term when we got busted, me and my friends got busted wagging school. Because, well, I don't know why, like, I made a lot of money from that as well, but I spent it on a lot of stupid stuff. Like, I spent a lot of times at the shopping centre just buying like a lot of stupid stuff. But we got busted once, and I think ever since then, and plus my brother actually fell asleep at the newsagents across the road. They figured, you know, it's not doing any good for the kids, so we ended up coming home after a year. But even when we came back, I felt like, you know, the damage is done. There's nothing, you know, we could fix. And they would always still encourage us, like, to go. Like, I felt so jealous with my friends, because their parents would let me go out, especially like on weekends, and we weren't allowed to go out. I used to always just stay at my friend's house, and then from my friend's house, because I know the parents were more lenient, we would go out from there. But that was pretty much growing up. Like, I always lied to my parents, and I never told them the truth in anything. And then, I don't know, like when I was like 17, something just happened, and it was kind of like a straw that broke the camel's back, and I didn't know who I was. I was just lost, confused in, you know, my purpose of being here. So I tried committing suicide, which wasn't really a good thing, and obviously it wasn't really successful because I'm still here. I'm not going to go into too much details because I don't condone it, and I really don't want to, I guess, put any thoughts in people's head. But after that day, I think my parents kind of stepped back a bit, and they realized that, you know, what they were doing to me was, I guess, suffocating me. Like, I was so sheltered that I felt like I was suffocating. But my dad promised that, you know, until I turn 18, until I'm an adult, I'm his responsibility. So, you know, when I turn 18, I can do whatever I want, but until I'm 18, then I'm his responsibility. So that was the way it was. which was weird because, you know, after that happened, it was kind of fine again. Like, things went back to the way they were, and I felt bad because after high school, I graduated from high school, but I never really went to university or anything like that. And I think that was their plan, their goal. Their success was for me to go to uni, and I didn't. And I feel bad, but in a way, my parents didn't really force me to. Like, I reckon if I didn't do what I had to do, like if I didn't do what I did when I was 17, they probably would have forced me. But I think they thought, you know what, let her make her own decisions. And I'm really grateful that my dad kept up his promise in, I guess, letting me take in charge of my own life. And I gotta admit, when I turned 18, I did some fucked up things, but at least my dad kept his promise. And honestly, ever since then, I have never really lied to him since. We're a lot more honest with each other, and I always tell him like where I am, if I'm on clubbing, if I'm getting drunk. Like, it really helped our relationship because we were very open with each other after that. So that's pretty much me growing up. Like, back then, I didn't know, but I know now that looking back on my childhood, what I thought was them sheltering me and just suffocating me in life, what they were really doing is trying to give me the best that they can. My parents grew up in almost third world country. You know, it wasn't easy to go to uni. It wasn't easy to get like a successful job or anything. Like, you really have to work really hard. And ever since my dad landed in Australia, he has been working every day since. And what I've learned is that he wasn't necessarily like ruining my childhood, but he was more in a way supporting me. That the way he saw it, you know, we live in Australia where you have a good opportunity to go to uni. So what he thought was that if I go to uni, that, you know, I'll be successful, I wouldn't have to work as hard, and, you know, I can be happy in life. Clearly that wasn't the case, but I think it was kind of like a learning curve for both of us. That for me, he must have thought that it wasn't really necessary to go to uni. It's not the end of the world. Like, as long as I'm successful in what I do and that I put in my own effort to do it, then that's fine, as long as I'm happy as well. And for me, it made me realize that it kind of pushed me a little harder to kind of do what I wanted to do. And I guess at the end of the day, be happy that I did it myself. I mean, the good thing is that, like, I know now that it's because they don't want us to go through what they go through. That's why they did what they did. But I don't know, like, I feel like we both kind of learned something from it. Also, how cool is this pillow? It is so cute. I bought it from Kmart the other day. I literally have not been to Kmart in like more than a month. I was having withdrawals, but this was so cute. It made me go back, and I'm not spending like $100 there. But anyways, that's a different story for a different day. Let me know if you're interested in me doing like a Kmart haul, because I am obsessed with Kmart and I have a lot of things. So I don't know, let me know if you're interested. So yeah, overall, I think I am really grateful that I have parents that are supportive. But obviously, like, when it came to like going out with friends and things like that when you're young, they would have said no. But apart from that, they've never really stopped me from doing whatever I wanted to do. But after all that's happened, I was really surprised when I was 16. My parents actually let me go to Malaysia with my friend on a holiday for like a month, which is super crazy because we're both 16. I've never been overseas before. Well, I have, but never been by myself. And there for like a whole month. So I don't know, like, they've never really said no in that. Like, anything that was to do with learning, making me a better person, they've always kind of pushed that onto me. Like, even the time where I wanted to take up sports, but they wouldn't let me because, like, you know, my friend kind of helped and, you know, said, we're just going to go to tennis. You know, her parents would take us. My dad was like, okay, fine, whatever. But you still go to Chinese school every Saturday. So we went, like I really sucked at it, and we ended up taking up like bowling after, like those bowling lanes, kind of like 10-pin bowling. And that was pretty much the only really sport that I really did there. Yeah. But yeah, they've never really kind of stopped me from doing whatever made me, I guess, a better person. But I'm really thankful now that I am independent enough that, you know, I'm not afraid. Like, if my car broke down in the middle of nowhere, I'm not afraid to change my own tires. I'm not afraid to, you know, change my battery. And that has happened, by the way. So, and I'm not afraid to do that. Like, because I've always had parents that supported me. You know, I don't know how many parents actually watch my videos, but what I've said before is that a lot of times, like, you know, when your kids want to go out and sometimes you say no, or, you know, even driving lessons and things like that, sometimes it's more the parent being scared. That's the reason why they don't allow your kids to like go and do stuff like that. However, I think it's important that in order for your kids to grow, you need to kind of step back a bit, because when you're scared, you're not holding back anything but your kids' future. So I don't know, that's just my own, I guess, advice as a child, what I've learned, and I think something that, you know, I would carry on for when I have kids. Because that's what I've learned from my parents, is that being in a different world, different country, you know, here was like their second language, like it's pretty much their second language. But they weren't, like, even though they were probably scared out of their brains, they kept that hidden away from us, and it made us more confident in life. Like, even I remember my first driving lessons with my dad. He was so shit scared. I wasn't allowed on the road. He drove me all the way to like this empty car park spot. If you live in Dandenong, I don't know if you know, but there's this like spot near the station where everyone just goes there to learn, and there's so many potholes. But I don't know how he found the place, but he took me there and taught me how to drive. I wasn't allowed on the road. So I don't know, even though it was something that I wanted to do, he always made sure he had time for me. And he took me there, and I drove around like probably about good 10 weeks before I was confident enough in driving like a manual. And then he made me get actual driving lessons, so I was doing the right thing and I wasn't just like another Asian driver, which I turned out an Asian driver anyway. But so yeah, so I was really grateful that, you know, he always put his kids first, and, you know, he always put us, you know, whatever is easy for us, whatever will help us with our future. And yeah, and I think that's what parents should do. By the way, I counted 14 of these and I've only got 2 left, so I've already eaten 12. Usually if I'm like out at the shops and I order dumplings and they come in like a dozen, by like the 8th one I'll start to get really full. But these, seriously, I think it's the skin, because they're so light and thin that it doesn't make you feel shit. And I think if there was more, I can probably still eat it. Okay, last one. Also, I know you can tell from my previous videos, I kind of got a new setup going on. I've been watching especially Mama Tang on YouTube, so I've kind of like set it up similar. I think it's just better like raising up the table a bit higher so you can kind of see my food rather than just see me eat. But shout out to Mama Tang, she's like my idol when it comes to mukbangs. Obviously, I'm not gonna go vegan, but I like the fact that she doesn't make you feel bad that you're not vegan, so. So sad. I just finished all my dumplings. But yeah, let me know if you want to know how to make these dumplings and leave a comment below. I'm excited, maybe I can do it all myself and show you guys how I make them as well. So yeah, if you don't follow me, make sure you subscribe. And like I said, I'm going to start posting videos up every Tuesdays and Fridays. So make sure you pop by and check them out as well. But I hope you like this video, and thanks for watching. Bye!